After starting the season 1-2, the Freeport Pretzels flag football team is on a roll, winning each of their last 4 games. Monday, they welcome a Hampshire team who's turned things around. They won 4 of their first 5 games after ending 2024 with just 6 wins. We have 4 12-minute quarters this season for flag instead of 2 20-minute halves. Opening drive here for Freeport. Bria Ballas looking for a receiver, but Isabella Gomez snagging the interception, putting the Whippers in good field position. Pretzels defense, though, getting a huge stop. Talia McElroy snagging the flag to force a turnover on downs. Fewer than 14 seconds left in the first. Ballas connecting with Rachel Guzman, who trots into the end zone. Pretzels up 6-0. Same score with 1:25 left into the second. Deja vu. Guzman again for her second TD of the game and the half. 12-zip Freeport. Now 41 seconds left in the half. The scoring not over, not so fast. Ballas launches one into the end zone, and who else but Guzman to make the diving catch. Freeport up 19-0 at the half, and that ends up being your final.